Dear students, myself Dr. Deepti Srivastava, Associate Professor in Zoology, Government Dungar College, Bikaner. Today we will talk about reproductive system in insects. Reproductive system. Usually insects are bisexual, but sometimes reproduction also occurs by parthenogenesis and hermaphroditism. The reproductive system is divided into two parts, namely internal genitalia and external genitalia. The internal genitalia serve to the development of germ cells. The external genitalia accomplish the union of two sexes and enable the female to deposit eggs. Female reproductive system in insects. It consists of a pair of ovaries which possesses number of ovarioles, a pair of oviducts, common oviduct or median oviduct, spermatheca, a pair of accessory glands, and bursa copulatrix or copulatory pouch or genital chamber or vagina. This is the female reproductive system in insects. Here we can see ovary, oviducts, then common oviduct, spermatheca, vagina, accessory gland. Ovary is attached by ovarian ligament. Ovaries. Ovaries are the prominent visceral organs present on the either side of alimentary canal. Anteriorly, the ovaries get connected with the body wall by means of thread-like suspensory ligaments. The ovaries are covered with fat body and are richly covered with trachea. Each ovary consists of a number of ovarioles or egg tubes. Ovarioles. Each ovariole is enveloped by a double layered cellular wall. The outer wall is called ovarial sheath, which has an abundant supply of tracheae. The eggs are discharged into the lateral oviducts. Lateral oviducts. Proximal end of the ovarioles of each ovary join to form a lateral oviduct on each side. The wall of oviduct is granular and muscular. Median oviduct. Two lateral oviducts combine to form a median oviduct. Vagina. In most of the insects, median oviduct does not open directly to outside. It opens into a tubular genital chamber or vagina formed by invagination of body wall from eighth segment. The vagina opens outside and the opening is called vulva. Vulva serves both purposes of receiving the sperms and discharging the eggs. Spermatheca. It is a sac-like structure consisting of a spermathecal gland and open into vagina through spermathecal duct. This is mainly used for storing the sperms. It also produces some fluids responsible for longevity of cells for several hours. Accessory glands. These are a pair of collateral glands which open into the distal portion of vagina and secrete the substance responsible for the formation of ootheca of cockroach, praying mantid and poisonous secretions in case of Hymenoptera. These sticky substances are useful for attachment of egg to the substrate on which they are laid. Each ovariole in insects consists of a group of tapering units called ovarioles. The number of ovarioles in an ovary varies greatly in different insects, usually 4 to 8. In Isoptera, more than 2000. Typical ovarial or egg tube consists of three parts, namely terminal filament, egg tube, and supporting stalk or pedicel. Bursa copulatrix. In some insects, the genital chamber or vagina develops a separate pouch called bursa copulatrix, into which insects have two reproductive openings. One is vulva for receiving the sperms, open on 8th sternum, and another one is ovipore or gonopore on 9th segment for discharging eggs. Example, Lepidoptera and water beetles. The female reproductive system consists of a pair of ovaries, except some collembola, which contain a single ovary with only one ovariole, a pair of lateral oviducts, a median or common oviduct, a spermatheca, and accessory sex glands. They differ in anatomy in different group of insects. This diagram shows female reproductive system in the insects in different groups. A diagram, Odonata, B Orthoptera, C Dictyoptera, D Lepidoptera, E Coleoptera, F Hymenoptera, and G Diptera. In Ephemeroptera, the lateral oviducts do not fuse and do not open into the median oviduct as found in most of the insects, but both open directly through paired gonopores on the 7th sternum. In other insects, the median oviduct opens through a gonopore on the 8th sternum. In Lepidoptera, two genital openings are found, amongst which are later gonopore represents a true genital orifice. The median oviduct modifies posteriorly close to the gonopore into a genital chamber, vagina, or the bursa copulatrix for reception of the intromittent organ of the male. The spermatheca opens into the genital chamber, and in some cases it is provided with a spermathecal gland. The ovaries are the mesodermal organs. The lateral oviducts are partly derived from both the mesoderm and ectoderm, and rest of the organs are of ectodermal origin exclusively. The ovaries, they are prominent visceral structures situated on either side or above the alimentary canal. Anterior end of each ovary gives out a long thread like suspensory ligament, of which the other end is attached to the dorsal body wall or dorsal diaphragm. The ovaries are covered with fat body and richly supplied with the tracheae. The ovarioles. The ovary is composed of a large number of tubules or egg tubes, commonly termed as the ovarioles. They are in fact the functional units of the ovary, inside which the development of the female gametes take place, and finally the ova are discharged into the lateral oviducts. All ovarioles of an ovary are alike in external as well as internal anatomy. They are externally enclosed by a double layered coat consisting of an outer tunica externa and an inner tunica propria. The tunica externa is formed from the fat body, while the tunica propria represents simply an elastic peritoneal membrane with some fine fibrils. The number of ovules constituting an ovary differs from species to species. The ovary is composed of a single ovariole in Termitoxenia and Corprini, two ovarioles in Glossina and Hippobosca, four ovarioles in Lepidoptera, 360 ovarioles in Apis, 1200 ovarioles in army ant Equiton, and about 2000 ovarioles in the termite queen of Eutermis. The different regions of ovarioles. First, the regions. Each ovariole can be differentiated into four regions: anterior-most terminal filament, second germarium, third velarium, and the rest pedicel, which opens into the lateral oviduct. The pedicel contains internally the epithelial plug, which breaks at the time of ovulation, and sometimes it is largely developed, forming the calyx. The first region, the terminal filament, is separated from the germarium by a transverse septa, and it is merely an apical prolongation of peritoneal layer and contains a mass of nuclei with scanty cytoplasm. Second region, the germarium. Germarium is a short but cellular division of the ovariole. It contains primordial germ cells, profollicular cells, and in some insects the nutritive cells. The primary oocytes are compactly arranged in the germarium. It is the most active site of the oogenesis. The vitellarium. It represents a large part of the ovariole, and it is characterized by containing a large number of growing oocytes arranged in a linear fashion. Each developing oocyte is enclosed in a follicle of the epithelial cells and are separated from each other by the interfollicular tissue. In some insects, each oocyte is provided with a group of nutritive cells or trophocytes. The oocyte development occurs in anterior-posterior direction inside the vitellarium, and finally the fully grown ova are provided with two membranes, outer chorion and inner vitelline. It is the site of vitellogenesis. The pedicel represents a stalk of ovariole in the form of a short duct, providing a passage to the ova from the vitellarium to the lateral oviduct. It is composed of tall epithelial cells and bears a large lumen, but the upper end is closed till the time of release of the first ovum from the ovariole into the lateral oviduct. Here we can see the types of ovarioles. First type is paniostic, second is polytrophic, and third is telotrophic. Types of ovarioles. Based on the presence or absence of nutritive cells and their location, ovarioles are categorized into two types. First is panocytic ovarioles. In these, the nutritive cells are absent and the development of oocytes take place with the help of follicular epithelial cells. Example: Odonata, Dictyoptera, Orthoptera and Ephemeroptera. Second type, Meristic ovarioles. They contain trophocytes or nutritive cells which vary in their position. Based on the position of trophocytes, meristic ovarioles are classified into polytrophic ovarioles and acrotrophic ovarioles. First, polytrophic ovarioles, where developing oocyte and trophocytes arrange alternatively within the vitellarium. Example: Mycoptera, Dermaptera and Pseucoptera. Second type is acrotrophic ovariole, also called teletrophic ovarioles, where the trophocytes are present in the germinarium, that is apex, and are connected with the growing or developing oocytes by cytoplasmic strands. Example: Hemiptera and Coleoptera. So, if there are nutritive cells are absent, the ovarioles are known as panocytic ovarioles, and when nutritive cells are present, nutritive cells which give the nutrition to developing oocytes. If the nutritive cells are present, the ovarioles are known as meristic ovarioles. The three types of ovarioles: A. The panocytic ovariole, where nourishment for the oocyte comes only from the follicular epithelium. B. The telotrophic meristic ovariole, with a cytoplasmic cord or cytoplasmic strand that connects the nurse cells or nutritive cells that remain in the germarium with the descending oocyte. And C. The polytrophic meristic ovariole, with the nurse cells or nutritive cells contained within the follicle. So, here we can see the first, the panocytic ovariole, where the nutritive cells are absent and nutrition for oocyte comes from follicular epithelium. Second, teleotrophic meristic ovariole, where the nurse cells or nutritive cells connects with ovariole with the help of cytoplasmic cord or cytoplasmic strands. And in third diagram, the polytrophic meristic ovariole, where the nurse cells contained within the follicle. This is the meristic or polytrophic. Here the nurse cells are present within the follicle. And this is the panocytic. Here we can see primary oocyte in which germinal vesicle or nucleus is present, surrounded by follicle cells. Follicle cells gives the nourishment to the developing oocyte. Thank you.